One, two, three, and we're live. Hey guys, I'm with my buddy Cameron today,
How's it going, guys?
and yeah. So what's up, man?
Nothing much, man.
Yeah, so you kind of been a little sick lately, and
Just coming off a stomach flu, but trying to get back on the grind now. So,
right on. So what you gotta talk to me about your whole fitness account. So I know that I know that you made it into it says that you're sponsored. So does that mean does it mean that you are actually sponsored, or is it just a business account?
right now it's like my posts are sponsored just through Instagram. Like that's just kind of like my own personal doing. I did have a supplement sponsorship for a while, but that kind of went too shady for me, so I backed out of it. But right now, like the business account stuff's just for promotion and everything. But yeah, I was just kind of working towards kind of growing the following and whatnot.
Right on. So, like, you know what though? I had the same thing. So I think I was with this company. It was called Team Change, and they're the company in Australia. So I guess they have a bunch of companies, but there's one in Australia, one in US, one in UK. But the one I was sponsored with was from Australia, and I think I regret it because it was just they weren't really known, and I felt like they more kind of screwed me over a little bit to
Yeah.
get me to purchase things and then say, okay, well, you'll get rent, you'll get all these, you'll get a bunch of money, or you'll get commission basically,
Yeah.
from whatever people if people use your codes and stuff. But I just think that maybe it's better that you find I need to research research the company before I.
Yeah, it's hard to find legitimate companies nowadays that aren't into just like the whole, oh yeah, buy our stuff for this discounted price and we'll, showcase you on our page for
Yeah.
a post or whatever. And then you're like, oh, well, my face never popped up on your page. But
Oh, right, right. So you were just using me,
yeah,
right?
no, it's hard with the fitness industry. It's kind of a controversial topic, I suppose. It's a little bit shady here and there.
Well, and it's interesting because I think you gotta I don't know. Do you know what's her name? Ashley. I can't say her. I forget her last name. She was like a trainer at Good Life.
Okay.
She doesn't. No, it's not who you're thinking. It. Not Kristen. Ashley. She still works out there. Now that it's Fit for Less. I don't know, but she's with this company. I think it's something Freak. It's not Ripped. It might be Ripped Freak. I think you know what that is. But I think it's something Freak, and seems like she's doing a lot of good things there, and she's getting sponsored. And she's got to be making money or something because she's always promoting them, and she's always out there. So either one, she's dedicated, or two, she's making some money off of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's all kind of like where you find where you find yourself. I guess like some companies they are pretty legit about it. Like I've been trying to get in with a few lately, but it's it's sketchy, right? Like until you see solid proof that they're actually trying to benefit you too, then it's kind of a
Yeah.
I don't know iffy situation.
Well, and I think that um, I think with some companies too. I think of course they want to help you, but they're really, at the end of the day, they're all about themselves. It's
Yeah.
more yeah, we can benefit you. There is, there is benefit for you, but they put everything up front, and then it's more okay, well, here you go. So here's, you'll make your commission if you can sell it to people. But the problem is, and I think it's not just their fault too. I mean, yeah, they're kind of not scamming you, but they are kind of screwing you over. But I think also it's kind of my fault too that I didn't really um, research enough about the company because, yeah, I mean, who really knows who Team Change is? And
Yeah.
even if you wear the brand, who's gonna really? I think also comes down to if you're a popular stud at the gym,
Yeah.
or people are gonna see, oh, look what he's wearing. So I think unless if you're a popular guy at the gym and everyone knows who you are, is that wearing all that gear really gonna help?
Yeah. I think it's a matter of almost like how It's the best way to describe this. Kind of like how people are born into money, I suppose. It's kind of hard to make money, but if you're born into it, then it's already there, right? It's kind of like the fitness industry. It's like if you're naturally good at it or you were somehow born into that type of industry, then you're probably going to jump up the ranks pretty fast and get up there in popularity. But if you're just like a small town guy trying to make it big, it's a lot harder because people in small towns don't really care about publicity and fame because we're all trying to make it in a small town. You go to a big city and try the same thing, you're gonna jump up there way faster because one, you're surrounded by more people, and two, you're just, people there actually care about the whole publicity thing. It's a lot easier to get around and make fame.
Well, and I agree with that, and not just that. I mean, if you think about it, if you look at like back in the 40s and 50s, where a lot of people went to become famous was Hollywood, for example. I mean, nobody's gonna know about this girl that's from a little town in Iowa or something.
Yeah.
If you want to get big, you got to go to the big cities and put your name out there to become famous or whatever it is that you're trying to get known or be known for.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's like I think this whole world basically revolves around money, right? Like
100%.
if you want to make it big in the industry of fitness, you gotta have money to get there, or you gotta have a lot more time than the people with the money. Like for a guy like me from Chatham, Ontario, it's like we're in the middle of nowhere. The nearest sign that leads to our town is like right beside the town. Like
Yeah, pretty
nobody
much.
knows where we are.
Yeah.
So
Even though Chatham Kent is so big, it's like
it's big and small at the same time.
exactly. It's got a big name, but
Yeah.
it's so small in comparison to
Everything
say
else
London.
around us. Yeah.
Well, if you
but
go,
say,
yeah,
that being said, like if I was from Chatham and I was born into money or I was rich or made it off with some miracle deal or invested into some company that just took off and skyrocketed, then I have the money to move out to Hollywood and afford things like that. Totally different story. I'm sure you could make it easily, but when you're living, blue collar or whatever, and you're just trying to make it in like a small town, it's a lot harder to kind of get popular in the fitness industry, let's say, and get those sponsorships. Like there's sponsorships like Gymshark and like all the legit ones, Gymshark, BPI, EHP, all that stuff. When you want to get sponsored by guys like that, and you're talking like 100,000 followers on Instagram plus, like things like that. And the only way you're going to get there is those big cities, and to get there, you need the money. So for me, it's more or less you got to start with the money or being born into the fame.
yeah, and I think that's exactly it. And a lot of those people that if you see a lot of big fitness models on there, I'm talking about more like the women. Um, like I think a lot of them they talk about. I saw one and she was talking about, well, this is where I started at, and it's like, yeah, but it's like I still get that feeling that almost like she was born with the money, like she was born with the old money, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like you can read it. Like I think we don't mean to judge, but we do.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a whole controversial topic with the fitness industry. Like there's so many different factors that can lead to fame. Like leading ones would be like money, steroids, 100%. Like that's
Yeah.
steroids can make you zero to famous real quick just because you're a giant dude and you
Yeah.
have a crazy physique or whatever, and everyone wants to follow you because of your physique. But in reality, it took you a year to get there because you just hopped on some Dianabol or something and
Yeah.
gained 30 pounds a month. Like
And then your head,
Crazy shit
and then
like
your
that.
head grows like fucking three
Yeah,
three
and then you
times the
jump up
size
there
in
into
like
fame
a couple
and then-
months. Yeah. Yeah.
shortcuts and whatnot.
Yeah. But I mean, and I don't like when you go on Instagram and stuff, and you find a lot of people that are successful with their fitness or successful, whether that be like they got a bunch of sponsors or or yeah, with sponsors and they just look and they're just very fit and and you can see that they're successful, whether it be financially or physically. Like you try to like ask them for help and they just don't even acknowledge you or don't message you back or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just it's almost like, okay, I mean I get it too because you probably have a lot of followers, so you might have. I mean you think of celebrities, they're not going to answer you out of the 400,000 people that just messaged him like 2 minutes
Yeah.
ago, right? And but at the same time, there's some people like even people locally like I'm not saying I'm just using people for example, but someone like Billy Lanigan, he's like I would consider him to be a known guy in Chatham in terms of like if we're talking about fitness.
Yeah.
Someone like him, I'm not saying that he has or he ever would, but just using someone like him, I've even seen some people locally like him that have like I've tried to message them, asking for help, and because they don't even know me, they're like, yeah, like they don't really talk or anything. It's
Yeah.
more like, well, if I don't know you, I'm not gonna like try to spend time with you at the gym or things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It's almost like I think that fitness and staying in shape can be nice, but I think sometimes it can also make you very arrogant.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's a very big egotistical side to fitness, I find, with a lot of people.
100%. I mean, just to sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just for the record, I mean, Billy Lanigan's an awesome guy. I'm not saying that he's anything like that. I just had to, the only person I could really think of that's like a big, like, fitness guy in China. But anyway.
Yeah. But like you're saying, like there is definitely an egotistical side to fitness for sure. Like everyone wants to, be big and be the biggest guy in the room and
No matter who you are, yeah.
all that stuff. Kind of, everyone's got their opinions. I'll say that, but I feel like deep down we all probably started in the exact same spot, and it's just a matter of everyone realizing where their roots were and not where they are. Because if you get so caught up in like your progress or your fame or whatever, and you forget where you came from, and that's when you start like running into the ego problems and all that stuff. Kind of letting all the size and prize catch up to you.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think that, I think you should always remind yourself where you came from. And I think, like, and you find a lot of people struggle with that because, I mean, yeah, when you get big and you become successful, whatever it is that you do, you kind of do forget where you come from, I think. But if you look at a lot of even like actors or actresses, obviously you must know who Keanu Reeves is.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I've read a lot of stuff about him lately. I mean, because I know John Wick Chapter 3 is coming out. I still haven't seen any of the movies.
I've seen them. They're pretty good.
Everyone
Don't
talks
fuck with
about
his dog.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I knew about that. I know they kill his dog and then he freaks the hell out and starts just greasing everyone. But like I mean, a guy like Keanu Reeves, like I've read so much about him, and apparently he's like this really humble guy, and he's really really nice guy, and apparently all the review that he made from the Matrix movies, apparently he gave it all away to like I'm not sure if he gave it away to charities. But I know he gave it away to somewhere, and he lives like he doesn't drive around in like limos and stuff like that. He doesn't have his own personal bodyguard. I don't think he would because after seeing him blow those guns, like shoot him with all those guns, I think he could kick some real ass, like real life. But like if you look at him, he's very much like a regular Joe. He just like there's a video of him where he's just walking down the street. Like I mean, obviously a lot of celebrities do, but I mean, like he doesn't walk around with all the with all the pictures being taken, and just goes in and just drives around, and he's just an average guy, and
he knows when to take the work hat off and when to put back on the everyday Joe hat, in a sense.
Yeah, and he's just a kind guy. Like apparently there was a video of him. He was sitting on a subway train and he offered a seat to some woman. He didn't have to, but he decided to because I think a lot of celebrities struggle with knowing that hey, you're just a person. And I mean like that's why I have a hard time believing that when some people get way too excited to like meet celebrities like at like Comic Cons and things like that. Like yeah, it is awesome. Like I mean, because you wait in line for so long to meet that one person that you've been waiting to meet. But at the end of the day, you gotta step back and realize, hey, these are just people. This is just their job, and it'd be no different if they were a singer or They could be have simple job, they're a writer, or they could be as simple as they could be flipping burgers at McDonald's. Like they're just people, like just me, and they're just
Yeah.
doing something that makes them a little bit famous,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, and you see a lot of like media, just it's crazy how much media can make people um, like change their perception of certain celebrities, and I think a lot of people don't realize what celebrities truly go through. I've seen comments on Facebook like, oh, like they're rich, they got everything they want. True, they probably, yeah, they're rich, and they probably could get whatever they want. But at the end of the day, I mean, you think about it, these celebrities, I mean, if they don't have anybody, any significant other in their life, I think that you're really lonely all the time, because I mean, other than bodyguards and who else lives with you? I mean, butlers, etc. I think that you're always alone, and you're always busy. You always got cameras, like you got a bunch of flashes in your face all the time. And I think after a while, for anybody, that can drive someone insane.
Yeah. The whole, like, I don't know, the way I look at the world is like, we all started in the delivery room, really. We all start from square one. No one comes out of the womb immediately famous, right? Like,
No, 100%.
Look at
Well, I mean, Donald Trump maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
A small loan of $1 million, but
Yeah. Dude, when I heard about that, that was
a little ridiculous. But no, like, you look at all these movie stars and stuff, and like, there is some that definitely have caught themselves up too much with fame and everything. But reality is we all start in the exact same spot. Yeah, there's being born into money or born into royalty or whatever. But reality was, like, we all start in a delivery room and we all end in the ground, really.
Well, it's no different if you look at people that are like on drugs. I mean, nobody grew up saying, "Hey, I'm gonna grow up to be a drug." I'm gonna grow up, and by the age of 18, I'm gonna start shooting up in the alley. Like,
Yeah.
I think everybody's born. Trying to think of the word. Born very clean, like born with nothing. Like everyone's born with nothing. It's your life that you determine how it's
Yeah.
gonna come out. I mean, I know that there's some people that have to work a little bit harder than others, because a lot of people, some people can be very privileged and they don't have to work as hard. But then you get some people that have to work a little bit harder, so they decide to change their life than what they've got already.
Yeah. It's all about really, like, just the way you decide to take your life, I guess, is really what decides on where you go. Like, say, I don't know, any of the famous actors, when they were growing up, they had the same personality that they do now, but they just decided to use that personality to their advantage and kind of find their path, right? Like, it all depends on what your perspective on your life is. If you grow up thinking, oh, I'm gonna just work at McDonald's, I'm never gonna find anything, you're probably never gonna find anything, because your subconscious mind is constantly gonna believe that. But if you grow up saying, hey, I'm gonna be a movie star, or hey, I'm gonna be this, and you keep working at it and keep working at it, it's kind of like quitting smoking or something like that, right? First
Right.
time it might not happen, but if you keep trying and trying and trying, eventually it's gonna happen.
Well, you determine your own destiny.
Yeah, basically.
And yeah, like that's a really, really good point. I mean, if you think about it, like you take someone like Arnold, for example, um, there's a video of showing his life before he became famous, and how all the stuff, the little things that he had to do to get here. He started here, and I mean, like you talk about his childhood, about how his father was like a Nazi cop or something like that, and beat him and all that, and he had to like go to America with like so much money, and then he had to like sell equipment, or like I'm not sure if he sold his equipment or he had to sell stuff to like get equipment to like work out, and then once he started becoming more recognizable, and he also had to work really shitty jobs to support himself, and like it's interesting how someone like that can now become someone that everybody looks to in the fitness world.
Yeah.
I know he's old, but at one time he was like, I mean, his bicep was probably the size of my fucking head. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, like, even then, like, it's like with Arnold, he probably didn't 2 years old for his birthday, he wasn't like, I'm gonna be the governor. Like it's just
Exactly.
That's just where his life took him, right? You gotta try for things you want. Same going back to the fitness industry. Like if you want to make it big, you gotta take the necessary steps to get there. You can't just sit back and hope everything falls in place. You gotta, even if it's so much as just like daily posting, or if it's doing podcasts or live streaming or anything like that. You gotta, even though like for guys like me and you, posting content seems sometimes like it's like nothing because get like 30 likes on a picture, you're like, oh, whatever. Your podcast, you get like whatever views, right? Yeah. And you're like, well, look at these big guys though, and they're getting like hundreds of thousands of likes, hundreds of thousands of views, and then you think about it and you're like, but they had to start exactly where I'm at right now. It's all about
100%.
being persistent and keeping on the grind, I suppose.
Right, and I think like it's like I say. I mean, you determine your own destiny. I mean, there's some things that aren't meant to be, and that's always how it's gonna be. But if you look at, I mean, obviously who Conor McGregor is, right?
Yeah.
All right, I used to be obsessed with this guy. Not anymore because I think he's just become a really big douche.
Yeah.
I mean, very talented, but he's just become a bit of a douche. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's just a crazy Irishman," which he is. I mean, you do see it, but I think the money just totally ruined him.
Yeah.
But if you look at someone like him, I mean, his family was poor. He was poor, and then he had to start out as a plumber, and then he wanted to become an MMA fighter, so he had to he was living on welfare while he was fighting, and it just hear of a story like that where someone's like to listen to some like the roots and where they came from and how they became famous and how they became this and this and that. It's really interesting, and it's crazy how there was an interview of him like so many years prior to getting into the UFC, and he said like, I'll be in the UFC, or I'll be like a UFC champ or something like that, no doubt. And surely enough, he got in the UFC and he just started whooping ass, and got the belt at featherweight, and then he got the belt at lightweight, I think a year and a half later. So it's interesting how I think you can determine your own destiny. I mean, that I think part of that, that was a bit of a gamble, because you can say whatever you want, like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to be a champ, I'm going to defend my belt 10 times. Well, I mean, you can say that, but things don't always happen the way you want it to at the same time.
It's all about, you got to be the hardest worker in the room, really. Mm-hmm. You can talk all you want, say you're going to be there, and a lot of it is like, if you don't tell yourself that you're going to get places, then you probably never will. But at the same time, you can't rely on just telling yourself that. You got to put in the work too. If you want to be the best, then you're going to have to train better than the current best. You got to train better than everyone else, because if you don't, then you're not going to be the best. Someone else is doing better than you, training better than you, practicing better than you, whatever it may be, like fighting, working out, music, movies, whatever. If you're not working harder than the guy that's at the top, you're never going to get past the guy at the top.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So, I mean, I gotta ask you, like, what do you want to do with your life?
You know what, man? There's no real final destination for me right now. It's just kind of roll with the punches and see what happens. Right now, I'm working for the Army, but could be permanent, could be temporary. I don't know. See where that goes. But fitness-wise, it's just kind of a journey at the moment. I just kind of want to better myself. I came from a pretty dark place in the beginning. I was going through depression and anxiety and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I started going to the gym. Went, I don't know, 2 times a week maybe, just to kind of get into the habit. Started noticing, like you start working out and you're like, oh, look at my biceps. They're starting to, be all juicy.
Yeah.
Started getting addicted to that. So just kept going. Got myself up to, before the stomach flu I just got over, I was up to at least 6 to 7 days a week. And then I would kind of pick my rest periods, because I prefer to more listen to my body than do it by numbers and everything. So, but I was up to 6 or 7 days a week straight, just doing separate muscle groups, focusing, burning out everything, making sure I'm getting effective workouts and not just doing it for the motion.
Right.
But it's all just been a process so far, and I'm kind of just seeing how far it'll take me.
Oh, that's interesting. So with the Canadian Army, so you're just doing that part-time, right?
Yeah, I'm just a reservist right now.
Okay. So in the reserves, actually I was driving, this would have been Tuesday? Are you just doing weekends? Or do you do during the week too?
It's just part-time work. It's all variable, really.
Because Tuesday, was it? Yeah, Tuesday? No, Monday. It was Monday. It was in the afternoon, and I saw a bunch of the reserves. I'm not sure if they were running or they were just I can't remember. They were running or just like marching with all their gear on, and you know where Riverview is?
Yeah.
Well, they were going down Riverview, and it looked like they were going for a long ride because, and then it must have been like the commander like in the truck, and he was just slowly driving behind them. So I'm guessing that they're probably just walking, but I mean wherever they were going, it's a good long walk.
Yeah, it was most likely like a ruck march or just something like that. That would be my guess.
Like they didn't look like they're all like marching like in like a, you know how you see armies where when they're marching they're all marching and it's like they do some kind of like some kind of march and they all look the same.
Yeah.
It didn't look like they just looked like they were just walking with all their gear. So it could have just been
for like a ruck march, then that would probably be all that is. You just kind of load up your ruck with however much weight, and you just kind of go for like a certain distance. It's more or less just like a physical training thing, more than anything.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there for that. Like I said, I'm just getting over the stomach flu, so probably by the sounds of it, that's probably all it was just like a physical training day, probably.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if it was the high school kids, because I know that when I was in high school they had like you could do co-op, so you could do co-op for the Canadian Armed Forces, and they hire you like a reserve.
Yeah.
And they also pay you too, and I went for that, but I couldn't get in. But yeah, like I see if it is the kids who I'm thinking of, I mean that's really tough at like 16, 17.
Yeah, I started in that same boat. I joined through co-op with my school.
Oh yeah.
And then I just kind of took on the actual job portion of it after the co-op was over. We had the option to basically stay or leave with no consequences for either option. So, but I think it's like when it comes to army training and all that stuff, like it's all about your mentality, really. I've watched everyone from like 240-pound dudes to 100-pound young ladies and everything. Like it really doesn't matter who you are or how much you weigh or how athletic you are. It's all about like your mentality and your ability to work as a team, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think so too, and I think that I think in the military, I don't think there's anyone that they look at and say, no, we can't have you because you're sorry, that was just some wall. I think that I think like there's no one that they can really turn away because they know it's I think it's all about the mind.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's all really your mentality. Like when you join your first army course, right? Like your basic course. There's really no like you're not gonna make it because you're too scrawny or whatever. They really like I've seen a crew of or like a squad of like weak dudes, and they'll try to test you. Like they'll give the small person a big gun or whatever during the training because they know that it's going to be heavier for the small person, but they want to see what you got. Because in reality, at the end of the day, we all got to be able to do the same job. We got to have the big guy be able to get to the same hole as the little guy. Like it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
So as long as you can stick through it mentally, like that's really all there is to it. At the end of the day, you got to know that you're with your squad of people and you're going to be just fine as long as you keep moving forward.
Right. So what would be like your favorite training?
I don't know, to be honest. It's the whole thing's kind of a journey in itself, I guess. It's just my favorite part of throughout all of it would probably just be like the brotherhood, the sisterhood of it, I guess.
Okay. Is there a lot of like chicks in the reserves, or?
Yeah, there's women, there's men, there's really no difference. I've seen women that are better than men at certain things. I've seen men that are better than women at certain things. There's really no saying like in the old day, you know, like World War I, World War II, it was like send the men off to war,
Yeah.
and leave the women home to do all the clothing and ammunition and all that stuff. And nowadays, though, like there's badass chicks in the army. Like, you know, there's tons of girls that, you know, have bigger whales than most of the guys.
Right. So, have you done like the weekend? Because I know somebody that was in the reserves, and he said that he's done like the weekend trainings where, he said the one weekend, literally, they just sat in foxholes the whole weekend, and then they did these things where, so at nighttime they just had to stay awake, and they had to. There was no like, oh, you sleep and then I stay awake. Everyone had to stay awake. And then the commanders or whoever that was doing the whole thing would just come up and like tap people in the head and make sure that they were awake, and try to scare people, like see if that they were awake and whatnot. If they did, if they weren't awake, then they like make them go for like a little jog or something. Or...
Yeah. It all depends on the training, right? Like there is like sleep deprivation and stuff, but that's just because in the real world, like a real world situation, we kind of have to train for that stuff, right? Like, say you're over wherever, right, and you're doing a defensive operation or whatever, like you're maybe not gonna have the chance to sleep. So there is mandatory like rotations and stuff, obviously, with real world situations, but reality is you just gotta train how you fight. So training might suck sometimes, and sometimes there's kind of shitty things that you have to do. Nothing that's too extreme or anything like that, but you just gotta train for the things that you might have to do at some point.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and it's crazy that like we don't have that big of an army, but can you just imagine if our army was humongous? Like, I think we probably do have the best weapons. One of the best, anyway. Like, do you guys still have the C7s?
Yeah.
Yeah, the C7s, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, like, it's a lot of controversy between world superpowers and everything.
Yeah.
But I'd say Canada's, we're pretty steady with what we have. It's, they kit our guys out properly and give them what they need. That's about that.
So, do you guys ever do like classroom instructions?
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. So, like, say if obviously because you're in the reserve, so you're not in the full-time army. So in the full-time army, obviously you're either in you're standing guard ready to go somewhere, or you're overseas, and so it's a little bit different. But in reserves, if you're ever at the armories, do they ever do like classroom stuff? So like you sit in the classroom, they talk about stuff, or
there's different types of training nights and stuff. It's all like we're not always going to be in the field learning how to do stuff. Like there's all sorts of different ways. There's nights that we'll just be at the armory and talk about our training and stuff, or there'll be days in fields or whatever, but it's all just kind of just by your ear, I guess.
Right. And so how strict are they there? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can't just fuck around and do whatever you want, but like because you guys are more the reserves, how much are you guys allowed to get away with?
I mean, the job is still the job. It's we follow guidelines with different laws and all sorts of stuff like that. But we do what we're supposed to do and don't get into the dumb shit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you just do what you're told, and
yeah, it's all kind of a respect of the hierarchy, I guess.
So with some officers, so how can you tell if they're officers? Like, say if you can't see something that symbolizes them as officers, is it just more you just know who they are and it's just a quick sir, man, whatever?
Yeah, I guess it would just be their rank, or if you don't know, then you don't know, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's just rank.
Right.
They have like a little slip or whatever.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because the guy that I know who got into the reserves, he was telling me like it got to the point where there was times where they were having too many people changing around, like all the officers changing around. Sometimes they have sergeants taking over for the weekend, and they have like lieutenant, they have a whoever was taking over, and they kept switching up so many times, so they couldn't figure out who was the officer. So they just started saying anybody that they're walking by just kept calling them all sir, or if it was a woman, they call them all ma'am. If they look like they're officers, they just started calling everyone, and started getting pissed off. So like, we're not. You gotta stop calling us sirs.
Yeah.
Like we're your sergeant. You don't have to keep calling us sirs. We're like, we don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you don't know, then best you can do is probably say nothing. I don't really know. I never had that problem so far, but yeah, you just look for the rank, I guess, and if it's not there, then
don't worry about it.
yeah, don't worry about it, or just try to nonchalantly figure it out. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's alright. Yeah, I don't know. I'd never really been. I don't know. I kind of changed my views about the military. I would never want to sign up for the country. One, because I know what our country has done to our veterans.
Yeah.
I don't think I would like to get my leg blown off. One, because I just really want to. Don't really feel like losing a leg. But like two, though, if that did happen, because I don't want to come back and then have my country turn my back on me. I mean, you got a prime minister that I think that he's like, I don't know what kind of person would think it's okay to spend a bunch of money for returning terrorists, but not give enough money to veterans. And I know if you watch the video, Trudeau says that he says, oh well, veterans are asking too much money than we can afford. True, probably, but at the same time, but yet the money that you could probably give them, or the money that you so much don't have, you're putting into a program to help returning terrorists, which I'm not too sure why you would want to help them, why you would offer them to bring them back here. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really my place to give any political views, I wouldn't say.
Right.
But I mean, after all, he's in office for a reason, so I just kind of let the office do what they do, and I do what I do.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
my voice isn't going to change anything. So
true, and neither will mine. But that's why we're a free country. We can kind of say whatever we want. But I can understand your situation. You're in the military, you probably want to keep your views to yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah. But yeah, so what were we going back about the whole thing about the gym. So what do you think about Performance 360?
Pretty confident it's a good establishment. I mean, I like all their machines and whatnot. I find it's a pretty kind of like a homey place, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I really like it, and I know that there's some people that have complained about the locker rooms and other stuff like that. But other than that, I really like the gym. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it, And at least when I was at Good Life, I heard a lot of things about performance, and people were like, yeah, you got to come over and this and that, and it's like, okay, I will one day. And then when my membership was running out, I was like, well, I was hearing all the things about Fit for Less that was coming in, and I thought, okay, you know what, I'll give performance a try, and the guy Levi there, obviously you know Levi.
Yeah.
Well, he gave me a pretty good deal since I came from Good Life, and ever since then I've been going there, and it's hard to leave, like, cause I know Fit for Less, and it's no secret. I'm not gonna try to beat around the bush. Like, I know Fit for Less is like so much a month, and everyone's like, well, you can't beat that, and it's like true, but the problem is also you also have its cons there. I mean, the last two times I went in there, it was insane busy, like insane to the point where I couldn't even get on a machine. I couldn't have a proper workout. It was like a lane of cars, and you just can't get to that stop sign, or you can't get to that intersection because, oh, car's stopping here, has to turn. Oh, here comes a car, and it's just like it's crazy. It's crazy there. It's mad how it was set that gym, but it's a nice gym. They repainted everything, and everything looks nice. But also, like, another part of the reason why I want to stay at Performance is because I've developed all those relationships there, and it's I don't know. I just really like the gym. It almost seems like it's a little bit closer to me, which it probably is, and yeah, I like it. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a distance for me, but I mean, at the same time, like the quality of the machines and whatnot there, and all the equipment and everything is kind of unmatched compared to the other stuff that I've seen in previous places.
Yeah.
It seems like they put a lot more effort into thinking about what they actually put into their gyms versus other companies and whatnot.
Yeah, like I gotta agree with you, and I think that you can't just, like, for example, if I were to open up a gym, I can't say, okay, well, here's the gym, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of machines in. That's not how it works. You gotta have a balance of everything that works out everything. So if you have legs, you need to make sure you have a leg extension machine, and you have to have calf extend, whatever it is, it's something to work your calves, and you have to have something to work this and that, or you have to have like a leg press. You have to have everything that kind of can help out every single kind of muscle.
Yeah.
And I find, like, I've heard of some people that have gone to gyms where they said nice gym, nice and clean, but like the machines are just so basic, or some of them are so a lot of them, like, for example, they'll have a bench, but they won't have an incline bench, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, you should have an incline, a decline, and a bench, at least, in a gym. At least three of them. If you had a couple more extras, that'd be nice, but you have to at least have three of those, because then it makes no sense. You have to either find yourself to make a incline bench, or like, and that sometimes can be difficult. But the thing I like about it, Performance, is that they kind of have, not only do they have, for example, they have the three benches, but they also have, like, they have other benches where you can adjust the seating. And I know they have that Good Life, but you can adjust the seating. So if you want to do incline bench, you can do it with dumbbells, or you can do this and this. So I really, really like that.
Yeah. No, I think they've got their machines and everything, like everything from machines to equipment to uh, TRX bands, all that stuff. They've all got it kind of planned out better than most facilities.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and not just that, and then you got all the treadmills too. Like, it's like a freaking, like a theater almost.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a little bit of like a theater stage. Like um, all the treadmills and bikes and everything. They're all
Yeah.
like a little theater shape, and that's kind of cool. You know what though? You know that box that like goes around, or that's like in front of all the treadmills?
Yeah.
For the longest time, for like 3 weeks, I was trying to figure it out. I thought those were speakers. I swear to God, I thought they were speakers, and I thought, does that really make a lot of sense? Look at all the cords are going to. And then I was like, oh, right, yeah, they're for all the treadmills. So they work. I was like, oh my God. Oh, fuck. But, yeah, I like the gym, and I like all this, like, the staff are really, really welcoming, too. And I don't want to bash, Fit for Less or anything, but the last couple times I've gone in there, and I don't want to give any company a bad name, but I mean, I'm just saying how I see it. The last couple times I've gone in there, it's just like either there's nobody there or like the people are just on their phones, and it's like I get it because they're probably not making commission, so it's like why would I have to work hard to greet people? But that's not the point. Even if you're making commission or you're not, you're getting paid to be at the desk. How hard is it to just greet people?
So whether or not you appreciate what you do, I guess,
Right.
changes everything.
Oh, 100%. Like, if I didn't like my job, probably I wouldn't work as hard as. But actually, no, probably not. I just have that good work ethic. But for example, if I use someone else, like, yeah, if you don't like your job as much, you're probably not going to work as hard as a job that you really, really want to be at, or you really want to move up or exceed at. So, yeah, like I can see that, but I just feel like people are so there's no respect these days.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no.
it's kind of this generation, I suppose. It's the world we kind of grown to know is a lot of selfishness and lack of respect, I suppose.
Well, not just that, but you could talk about like in terms of relationship or just in general, like just we've grown up in a really nasty jealousness, cheating kind of world where it's hard to find good people out there. And I'm not just talking about chicks in general, but everybody. And it's hard to find genuine people to. And that's why when I have people on podcasts, I choose very wisely because I want people on that will bring something to the table. They're not. I mean, I get there's some people that get stage fright, or there's people that don't want to be filmed, or people that can't really talk in front of people, or whatever it is. And I get that, but then like it's not so much that. That's why I ask people. It's more the people that I don't want to come on that are just gonna screw around or that are just gonna shoot their mouth off about whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like I'd rather have people on. Like I had do you know Mason Maynard from Performance?
Rings a bell, but I'm not quite sure.
I had him on the podcast, and he has really really good views. Another guy, Billy Lanigan, I also had him on too, and he brings a lot to the table. Like he talks about fitness, and he when he talked about getting ready for his show. Actually, I think when I had him on one of my podcasts, I think that he was getting ready. No, sorry, he was. I think he was like close to getting ready, like starting to prep for stage. And he was just bulking up. Actually, he was eating the meal during our podcast. Like he just got done, so he was like getting ready to start eating. Yeah, but with him, like he taught. He didn't just say, "Oh, yeah, I do shows." He talked about how much work it is to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Or
To do shows.
oh my god. Oh, I sat in the sauna for too long today. He didn't just talk about being on stage, but he talked about all the mental preparation for getting ready for the stage or or just the dieting and clean eating and the exercise that you always have to do. And he talked about it in detail and talked about how difficult it would be. And me just listening to him, it was very, I guess, therapeutic. I use the word for sure. And it was just it kind of opened up my mind to see, okay, so these guys aren't just fucking around at the gym, like they're really working hard, they're really working hard to get to that stage because they gotta cut so much, they gotta look a certain way. So it was really good. So it's I try to always find people that are gonna benefit not just I think the viewers but benefit myself, so I can take those ideas and think, oh wow, like now I can whatever William just talked about, now I can use that 2 years down the road.
Yeah.
Think about it. So, I think it's really hard to find people these days, loyal people. And I talked about one of my podcasts maybe a month ago about relationships and how a lot of people are not real. Right? It's harder to find people that are real and women that are loyal because a lot of people, I don't get it. People don't get reality. Like a lot of people are like, well, I'm not having a relationship, so I'm gonna cheat. I mean, I know that's probably not the only thing that happens, but just so many people are just not happy. And it's like, I think the problem is a lot of people aren't happy with themselves, so they can't be happy with someone, and they cheat, or they're just abusive in a relationship, whatever it is, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's the whole. It's kind of just the way that this whole world's been developed, I suppose. It's just kind of a, if it doesn't benefit you, then don't do it type of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
there is times where that comes in play and is suitable for a type of attitude, I suppose, is a way to put it. But there's a lot of times where people kind of use that in a very negative manner,
Mm-hmm.
in a selfish way, I suppose.
Oh, I think so too. And I think that a lot of people I think that a lot of people are just very all about themselves, and it's good to find people that like there's someone that I've known for a while, and I want to have her on my podcast because she's just actually I was talking to Mason at the gym. He's like, if you want someone on your podcast, Luke, you got to get her on there because she like yeah, I really dig what she's all about. Like I'm not saying that I'm but just more like she's got really good views on life, and she's got a really good story behind everything. And and it's good to find people like that, because even I'm not just talking about relationships, but just people in general to surround yourself with. And I think like at the end of the day, I think it's good that you find people, yeah, the people that are going to. I mean, it's good to have friends, but it's good to have those people in your life that are going to help shape who you are. Like, and for example, that's parents. Parents shape who you are. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you don't want to be everything that they want you to be, but if you have parents that are good parents and are parents that want you to succeed, that's people that are in your life that they're shaping you to be who you want to be. So if I decide I want to and that's why, and that brings back to my podcast. That's why I pick certain people to be on my podcast, because I want people in there that are going to help shape who I am and give me the ideas about different reflections on life. And yeah, I think that's how it is.
Yeah, man, it's all about, I guess, surrounding yourself with people that are going to benefit your life. And going back to the whole, like, selfish, like, generation topic, it's not so much when I say that I mean, like, surround yourself with rich people because you'll get money from them, but more or less
Yeah.
surround yourself, say, like, with, polite people, or people who, have better insight on life than maybe others, or surround yourself with people that go to the gym, work out, chase their dreams, all that stuff. Because you surround yourself with people like that, you're not going to be surrounded by negativity anymore. You're going to be surrounded by the positivity and everything.
Right. So anyway, yeah, and I think that um, yeah. Sorry, just had someone walk in here. Um, yeah, and I think you got to just surround yourself with good people, and I think like when you do, I think if you surround yourself around people that are just all about drama and negativity, it does bring it upon yourself.
Yeah.
I think, and you find the more you hang around people that are going to benefit you and more positive people, you feel better about yourself, I think. At least I do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think that I do, at least. Like, I feel better. I feel great. And it's nice even when you're talking with someone and they're just always uplifting and positive, it just makes you feel that way. At least for me, it does.
Yeah, it's kind of who you surround yourself with. Their personality and their actions brush off on you, right? Like, it's kind of, you surround yourself with dark people that are into, like, the drug scene or whatever. You're probably gonna wind up, having thoughts about going that route just because that's what you constantly see. But if you see positivity and people who are uplifting and people who are outgoing and all that stuff, you're gonna start seeing that side of life versus all the dark negative things that are out there. It's all about just it's kind of a philosophy, I guess. Not so much that it's you trying to be someone else, but the people you surround yourself with are kind of the people that you'll become.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to surround yourself with people that you want to be like, because that's just, that's how we are. You know, look at
100%.
Instagram for an example. You follow who you follow because you like that person and you want to be like that person. You don't follow, you know, I don't go on Instagram and follow Callum Von Moger because, you know, he's got nice hair. I follow him because he's a bodybuilder, and that's something that I'm interested in. He's a good role model, you know.
100%.
Shows a more positive outlook on bodybuilding, and he's a very genuine guy versus some other parts of the industry.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I do follow a lot of people that are kind of into the same thing as me. Like, of course, I'm not just going to follow that chick because she's hot. But, you know, I try to, you know, for example, so, you know, the part where it says discover people, like, I'll try to follow people that I think I recognize, like, around the gym, or people that, like, follow the people that I follow because then I can kind of see what they're all about, and I kind of gain knowledge. But the moment that they start posting nasty shit and they start posting a lot of negative stuff, it's like it's all game over for me. Like, I say, no, I'm gonna unfollow you because I don't want that. I mean, it's easier to get followers if you follow other people, which I think everybody knows. But I'm not just all about that. Like, I want to gain knowledge from other people and whatnot.
Like, as much as I want to build my following right now, I'm also not gonna, you know, take the cheap route of just go spam follow 4,000 people and, you know, get 2,000 back and get, oh, I'm famous, you know, like,
exactly.
There's all sorts of shortcuts to gaining followings and being famous and whatnot.
I mean, I know you can, like, buy followers.
Yeah, or you can buy them or whatever, but at the end of the day, say you make it big one day, and then you get all those people that are nosy and they want to look into your career. They're gonna go back and dig that stuff up, and then all of a sudden your following can crash and burn because someone pulled up, oh, he bought 1,000 followers when he first started. Why are you guys following this guy? Or something like that. Exactly. And then your career crashes and burns because of some stupid shit you did at the beginning. So as much as I'm concerned about the following right now, like, you know, to make it big, you obviously need the following. You need to be out there in social media. You need sponsors. You need all that stuff to be big and stay big.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I'm making sure I do it the legitimate way. And that goes with, like, steroids and stuff too. Like, you know, a guy like me, when I started, I was skinny fat at like 139 pounds, I think. And I was, when I started, like, actually daily working out, that was about a year ago. Right now I'm 160-ish. I've been cutting a little bit, you know, gotta get the summer bod going. But as easy as it would be for a guy like me, like, my metabolism is higher than Snoop Dogg on New Year's. It's, you know, it's ridiculous. But I can eat, and I've gained a substantial amount of weight for my body type, and, you know, my past, I've gained quite a bit of weight, but, you know, to the average eye, to everyone else, I look like a pretty skinny dude, right? You know,
right.
Like, I'm just getting started when it comes to fitness.
Yeah.
But when it comes to steroids and things like that, like, I could take steroids, I could hop on Dianabol and, you know, estrogen blocker and all that shit. Hop on that for a month, you know, cycle it or whatever, and I gained like fucking 30 pounds like it was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And people look at you and they just know, man. Like, for a guy like me, if I put on 30 pounds of muscle in a month, people would look at me and be like, okay.
You're fucking
cheater. Yeah. And there's really no respect when it comes to roids because it's so blatantly obvious. You can tell when people are on it.
And it's just a fucking cheating thing, and I don't like it.
I don't see respect in others from it when you do it, and I don't see respect for yourself because it's like I told my buddy, it's like buying Grand Theft Auto and putting on all the cheat codes before you start the game.
Exactly.
It's kind of like you just made everything easy on yourself, and then when you get to the end of the game, you're like, well, that was funny, but that really wasn't that fun because I'm done already.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you've gotten to where you wanted to get in such a short period of time. There's really no reward in it.
Well, and I think that, like, I don't condone it. If there was someone that I knew, like, if somebody that I knew who was into fitness and said to me, Luke, I used to take steroids, you know, 2 years ago, I don't do it anymore. It was a mistake. I don't take it like, okay, well, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. You know, you own up to your mistake, and you know, it's whatever. Like, you know, I'm sure it's probably someone that goes to our gym that takes steroids. There has to be someone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's probably somebody that does. I don't say, okay, well, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. But if they start going around like, yeah, I work really hard, I have to really pump, it's like, well, I mean, you know, you're taking steroids. I mean, you're not really,
When it comes to like competition and stuff,
Yeah.
Like if you want to go for Mr. Olympia, we'll all be straight up honest. You're gonna have to be on steroids if you want to get to the top of Mr. Olympia, because
Yeah,
the guys
'cause
you're
all the other
competing-
guys are.
the guys you're competing with are on roids, and reality is no matter how genetic, like no matter how much of a freak you are genetically, steroids are steroids, and they're
Mhm.
gonna make you a freak no matter what. And you're gonna be competing with guys that are unhuman, and that's because they are unhuman. They're
Yeah. They're
boosted
insane.
genetically. But when it comes to just like ego or wanting to be bigger, that's when I start to lose respect, because it's like you really have no pride in what you're doing then, because you're just willing to just kind of like whoop shortcut, just
Yeah.
to make yourself bigger and be the biggest guy in the room or whatever.
100%.
And it's like even then, if you really need it for your confidence or whatever, then you know what, sure, whatever. Everyone makes their own decisions. But it's when you start to it's kind of like when you start to shit on other people's parade with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like a guy on steroids walks into the gym and wants to claim all the machines and everything for himself because he's bigger and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or you guys are all small, or you'd even lift this much, or
Yeah.
you bench 225 or whatever. Like fucking, it's all just kind of random bullshit, right?
Well, I remember you pointed some guy out at the gym, and I just took one look at that guy and like, you're so right. I've seen it. It was some guy that you pointed out to me the one time, or no, maybe it was guy, somebody from front desk. I can't remember who it was. It could have been you. Maybe it wasn't, but somebody pointed someone out to someone pointed someone else out to me. They're like, yeah, that guy's a fucking dick. And I just took one look at the guy, and I'm like, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know him, so I can't really say that. And then I started seeing him walk around the gym. He's coming up all like, and it's like, yeah, okay, man. Your ego is like right through the roof.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with the fitness industry too. Is there's so much there's just a lot of judgment, really.
Well, if you look at and no, I'm not just talking about ego with the men, but the women too. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
just a whole. I think it's the matter of like when I go into the gym, right? I've noticed a lot of people look at me and stuff, and let me explain before I sound like an asshole saying that.
No,
but
you got a free pass here.
no, but I notice a lot of people look at me and stuff, and that's like I'll be in the zone or whatever, and yeah, I might like let out a grunt, or like I'll wear tank tops or something. I don't wear tank tops because I want to look cool. I wear tank tops because I don't like sleeves. That's actually the reason.
No,
no, like I'll wear a tank top or whatever, and you'll have the big guys looking at me and stuff, and like making their remarks or snickering in the corner or watching me in the mirror or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but I'm here to work on me. I'm not here to please anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying to be here and be a show off. If you're paying to be at a gym to show off, then you're paying for the wrong reason, and you should probably just stop paying.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't really get that. I don't really get that at the gym. I don't really get people that are like, look at this guy or nothing like that. Maybe it's just because I haven't caught him, but not too many guys like. There's some people that like tell me like, man, you're getting big. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you see that, but maybe it's more like when other people get a different perception of you, and I don't want to be weird or whatever, but you ever get that where you always wonder, you listen to yourself and you wonder, is that really how I sound, or does it sound different to other people?
yeah. No,
Is that weird, or is it like
there's been studies and stuff of like when we look in the mirror, you actually see yourself like. I wouldn't say uglier, but in a sense, you see yourself uglier than you actually are, or whatever. And that's just because like that's the way your mind interprets you. But when other people look at you, they see it like completely different type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with like your voice and stuff. Like to you, it may sound different, but that's because of the perspective, right? Like you're trying to listen from up here versus other people are listening out here, type of thing. It's all about perspective, really. Like everyone, when it comes to fitness, you'll hear people like I've heard people say I'm getting bigger and stuff, and I look down at myself and I'm like, oh, I don't really know how, but sure. Like when you start seeing like clothing sizes go up and stuff, yeah, it's a little bit different, but.
Yeah.
When it's just like small differences, I take it as a confidence boost though when you hear things like that, because it's kind of like those differences that you don't notice, but now you realize that they actually are noticed.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's I don't know. It's weird. It's all about your mentality, I guess. I'm like I like to sometimes like I'll go to post something on my Instagram, and I'll I'll go to post it up and I'll be like, oh, I look small in this, or oh, my bicep isn't flexing the same as the other one, or my muscles aren't balanced, or whatever. And then I'll just kind of be like, frustrated because I didn't get the right picture and I thought I did or whatever. And I'm just sitting there looking at it, critiquing it and everything, making sure it's good before I post it. And then I'll kind of sit back, relax for a second, and I'll pass my phone to my girlfriend and be like, hey, like, how does this look to you? I'll take a second, take my eyes off the picture, sit back, take a look at it again, and then sometimes the perspective of it totally changes just from my mentality, right?
100%.
Like when I'm not frustrated, that picture all of a sudden looks so much better to me because I'm actually in the mind of the first time seeing it, not the critiquing of it.
Yeah.
So it's all, I don't know, I guess it's all perspective on how you look at yourself, really.
Yeah. Well, I think we're starting to run out of a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you for having your perspective on things.
I appreciate being here. It was a good little conversation.
Yeah, no problem, man. And I'm sure we're gonna see each other at the gym anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
100%.
Anyway, man. All right, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you guys. It was fun being here.
We're out of here.
Peace.